My 11-year-old son was hit by a car, and he died right in front of me. There was a maternal anguish that rendered open within me, a visceral scream of grief that could not be quelled, no matter what method I tried. You may know this sort of raw trauma and grief that feels like it splits you inside, and you're not sure how you're going to put yourself back together. For me, I wasn't just interested in reducing the symptoms of my trauma to feel better. Instead, I wanted to rebuild a life after such a horrific loss. You may be saying to yourself, well, my symptoms have gotten to be good enough. I can function, I'm participating in life again. And this is an opportunity for you to go a bit further, to actually start to rebuild the life that you long for, a life that is vibrant and alive, where you feel not just like yourself again, you become a better person. Here are 5 consciousness techniques that can support you to rebuild your life after trauma. And I'm here to say that right after he died, I was overwhelmed by all of the things that I thought I needed to do to get better, to be whole, and at a surface level to just function again. And it was overwhelming. So I developed these 5 techniques because they're easy and they're simple and they're memorable. And you know that experience when you're in the midst of recovering from trauma and you can't remember or retain anything anymore. And so here are 5 techniques to rebuild your life after trauma using consciousness theory and practice. The first technique is simple. Look up. Even without trauma, we spend a lot of time hunched over and looking down. By looking up, you automatically shift your orientation, your awareness, into the present moment. Notice your surroundings, actually what's happening around you, and then ask the question of where am I right now? Where are you right now? Yes, you will answer it rationally about where you are in terms of place and people and time. But really at the heart of the question, you are orienting yourself back into the present moment, which is always where rebuilding after trauma will occur. So look up and ask the question, where are you right now? The second technique is to place a hand over your heart. It looks really simple on the surface, and it has layers of meaning. By placing a hand on your heart, you'll immediately start to regulate, so you'll feel better, and you'll feel a little bit more calm and relaxed. But placing a hand on your heart does more than that. You're starting to connect with how you are on the inside, what you're feeling, what you're noticing, what you're experiencing, all in the present moment. But as you bring your awareness within, you may wish to note and ask the question of how am I right now? It's like taking a pulse check. And you cannot rebuild after trauma without noticing not just where you are, but how you are in many moments throughout your days. And this starts to build towards your future. For the third technique, after you've placed your hand on your heart, you want to roll your shoulders up and back and down. And you'll notice that as you do so, you may automatically start to breathe a bit more easily, or you may have a quickening of an inhale and then an automatic exhale. When you roll your shoulders up and back and down, you're not only relaxing your body, you're actually reorienting your positioning. You're taking up your full physical space, and you're also expanding your energetic surround. By filling your space, you actually start to reclaim some of the power that has been lost through trauma. You may wish to pair rolling the shoulders up and down and back with the question of what do you want? And I want to pause and say that right after trauma, it is very important to reestablish safety and to take care of your needs. This question is a little bit different. It's really asking deeply within the heart of what do you want? What would make your heart sing? Pay attention. This is part of rebuilding your future. The fourth technique is to use your gaze to start to create a new reality for yourself. You can start by just softening your gaze, letting your gaze be blurry and unfixed as you sort of look around a room. Over time, though, you'll want to actually go outside and gaze out over a horizon, allowing the gaze to be soft and wide and expanded. By doing so, you're actually starting to create a new perception for yourself. Not only will it work with your parasympathetic nervous system by kind of entering more of a rest and calm state, you'll actually begin to shift your orientation to how you perceive your world and your life. As you gaze and as you broaden your perspective, ask the question within of what is most important to me right now. And notice your response. What is most important to me right now? The final technique is to use a cyclic sigh, which is a breath pattern to support you to stay calm and centered, and also ask another question. You can breathe in through the nose twice and then audibly exhale through the mouth. And using a cyclic sigh will automatically support you in staying more regulated and centered, and then you can ask the question, what may be my next step? In other words, what is calling to you? What is beckoning you? What may be just beyond your experience of trauma as you rebuild and find a new pathway forward? Notice as you breathe what response to that question naturally and organically emerges within you. You now have 5 techniques and 5 questions that can support you to start to rebuild your life after trauma. And I have to name the 6th technique. That's a bonus one, and I'm going to warn you, it's the most difficult one. And yet it made a foundational difference in my own recovery after trauma. First of all, get up every day and move. It sounds really basic, and I'll tell you, there were a lot of days that I did not want to get out of bed. Getting up every day, brushing your teeth, getting dressed, taking care of basic hygiene, and getting outside and moving in some way will support you to rebuild after trauma. Along the same lines, reduce numbing. It doesn't mean you have to eliminate it all. However, I took some active steps to limit the amount of scrolling and screen time, to no longer just binge watch episodes, to reduce the amount of drinking and caffeine in my life, and to lean into time with family and friends and being outside. Take these 5 techniques and just choose one that really resonates for you and that you know you can do on a regular basis. And one technique can go a long way in starting to rebuild your life after trauma into the life that you've always dreamed of, one that has purpose and clarity and direction, and that truly makes your heart sing.